Poker is funny. It's funny how two hands, same cards, in just slightly different situations can yield very different results. I play ace-queen twice pretty early on in this session with very different outcomes. First, I've got ace-queen in the small blind. Early position opens to $15. He gets two callers. I'm in the small blind, and I call. This seems like an easy decision to me. 3-betting with ace-queen in the small blind seems like an overplay. My hand is just too good to fold, so I like my call here. I miss the flop. The initial better puts out 45 into 60, and I'm done with the hand. Piece of cake.
You contributed to society at that point. No matter who you are, you've done something.
15.
I just love that sound bite. I don't remember what he was talking about, but I like his spirit. So now I've got ace-queen in the cutoff. There's one limper, and I make it 15. Then the small blind makes it 35, and it's folded around to me, and I call. This is a pretty straightforward spot, in my opinion. I'm never raising, really, with an ace-queen, but I don't think I can fold. But I am going to say this. There was not a lot of 3-betting in this game, and so when he makes it 35, I'm definitely taking notice, you know. The flop comes ace-deuce-4 with two clubs, and he leads into me for 35. I really hope he has a big pair, you know, that this is just a continuation bet. I mean, obviously it's going to be a real drag if he has ace-king exactly. But honestly, that is like the only hand I can put him on at this point that I'm going to lose to. He never has pocket deuces or fours. He didn't flop a set, that's for sure. So the turn is the 10 of clubs, putting 3 clubs on the board. And he leads out once again for 60. I don't see any flush he could have. There's no way he got out of line with like a suited king or something and 3-bet that hand pre-flop. But I am, of course, hoping he doesn't have the dreaded ace-king. Okay, either way, I look over to stack. I see he has about $80 behind, and I shove it all in. He calls. There's a deuce on the river, giving me. Now obviously, I could edit out the ceiling, but you know, then you wouldn't get to see the cameras and all the dirt up there and everything. Okay, so the river's a deuce, putting a pair of deuces out there, giving me aces and deuces a queen kicker. I turn over my hand. He turns over his kings with kind of a shrug, you know. And I have to say that now, from my side, the hand almost plays itself. I mean, but I think maybe he can get away from his hand. I don't know. It's hard to throw away kings. But that's kind of the fun of these dissections, right? Like, would I have done something differently if I was in his shoes? Would I have been able to somehow fold my big hand, save myself some money, play it differently? I mean, I don't know. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're watching poker vlogs and analyzing it. Obviously, it's fun. It's entertaining. And you get to see me bring in these chips and think, well, I would like to do that. But anyway, I'm rambling. Very happy to drag in this $400+ pot and on to the next hand. A few orbits later, I pick up this ace-king of hearts in the big blind. Oh, she's a beaut. An early position player makes it $15. There is one caller. It's on me. I decide to get aggressive with this one. So I put in a 3-bet up to $45. Yeah. I'm not really sure if I had a plan. I'm out of position. It's almost always going to be hard to play this one post-flop, unless I get some sort of miracle. Then the early position player, who had opened, makes it 110. The other player folds. It's back to me. Now, this is the very first 4-bet I have ever seen at this table. This is never a bluff. This is always aces or kings, and blockers can kiss my ass because this is always aces or kings, and probably aces. So I call. Okay, this is definitely a leak I need to fix. I have a very hard time folding pre-flop once I put any sort of money into the pot. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm afraid of looking like a pushover, like, oh, I put in money and then I folded. It just feels dirty and ugly every time I do it, but it's something I need to work on. There are times, like perhaps when someone 4-bets and I am out of position, that a fold pre-flop does make some sense. But no, I call the extra $65. The flop is 8-7 deuce. I check. He goes all in. Then I say this. Probably should have went all in pre-flop, but it's not a tournament. Wow. I might have lost the minimum. Maybe.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys have a wonderful day. Good luck, everybody. Thank you.
I guess I could have folded and he made it 110. I don't know.
At this point, I get called over to the 2-5 game. I sit down, I put another couple $100 out there. At this point, I'm in for about 800 with a little over 400 in my stack. I'm getting settled in, and I record this amazing hand. I'm not in this hand, but there was a 4-way all-in on the flop for over $2,000. The flop was 8, 10, 10. The player on my right, turns out, had pocket eights. He had flopped a full house, and then player on my left, he had a 10, so he'd flopped trips. And the other player had pocket kings. He decided he would just stick with that hand and get it all in. And of course, a king falls on the river, gives him the pot, crushes the pocket eights on my right. It was a wild hand. And then at this point, the player on my right, who had just lost a monster pot with his flopped full house, asked me kindly not to film. I said, no problem. Now, the good news is, it is much easier to concentrate and play when I'm not filming. I'm not taking notes. So I managed to run my $400 up to over $1,100 in this very wild afternoon 2-5 game. I play well, I get lucky when it matters, I lock up a solid win. Then it's back on the train. Now, I usually just turn around, head back to LA. But on this day, I get back on the train and head to Santa Barbara to meet my beautiful wife for dinner. There she is, my baby. Cheers. Yeah, pretty great day.